All right, everyone. We start off today talking about Donald Trump's Ballroom Blitz. Yes, indeed, construction has begun with regards to the proposed ballroom off of the east wing of the White House. The original opposition to this was, my God, it's going to cost so much money. Taxpayers shouldn't have to foot this bill just for Donald Trump's grandiose statement. And, or, he's spending money during the shutdown. That became an issue briefly, too. Then it was pointed out that it's privately funded. Trump has put in much of the money himself. The rest is from private individuals. So the taxpayers are actually getting gifted a people's ballroom at the expense of the so-called dictator and his tyrannical oligarchic friends. They're building it themselves. So that sort of died out some time ago, especially through the dawn hours of the shutdown. They're saying, oh my God, Trump is moving forward with his ballroom even though the government is shut down. And then again, it was pointed out this is privately funded. Now, demolition has begun on the east end of the White House. Yes, there's footage of it, by the way, if you want to watch it. They're ripping off the entire facade. Oh my God, Donald Trump is desecrating the people's castle. Well, I mean, if you don't knock out that wall, you're not going to be able to connect the fucking ballroom. That's the whole point. You're making an expansion. You're going to have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. This is normal within construction. Try having a room added to your house. What is probably going to be necessary is that a wall is taken out in order to expand it in whatever direction you happen to be going. Otherwise, you end up with some weird situation. If you look at the facade, for example, where a bunch of windows are adjacent to the ballroom or something like that. So it's like, I mean, this is technically an outdoor area now because it's just connected to the outer structure of what used to be the East Wing. Wouldn't make a lot of sense from an architectural standpoint, so it is a necessity. Again, privately funded. And then people are complaining. How dare Donald Trump do anything to the beautiful White House? The White House has been changed over and over again by successive administrations. Much of what is there didn't even exist prior to its rebuilding. At that time, the Canucks burned it to the ground and stuff. The White House has been continuously changed over and over. A lot of the amenities that are there weren't there originally, or semi-originally. A ball house has been proposed, by the way, by multiple administrations. They just never could get the ball rolling. Trump has the wealth and the investors necessary to effectively privatize it, saving us a boatload of money. What the hell is he doing wrong? I like the idea of a White House ballroom. It'd be funny to go in there and have a dinner. It'd be fun, and Trump will be there. He'll probably be telling crazy jokes, and maybe his kids will be there too. Some of them are more chucklehead than he is. I see this as a good thing. This is also effectively, it's not a symbol of the destruction of our democracy. Trump has taken a backhoe and ripped the sign off of the White House. I see it completely differently. I see it as a symbol of progress. Hmm, we got a president. Privately finances the expansion, so I don't have to pay jack shit for it. Yeah, he's doing it for partially self-serving reasons. He wants the kudos for having built the actual first White House ballroom. And it'll be used for, special events and stuff like that. Maybe some dinners, some bruncheons, maybe some decorations on holidays and stuff like that. He's not asking me to pay for it, though, so what the hell do I care? All the liberals are trying to wrap themselves into goddamn pretzels right now, figuring out a way to actually describe to me why this is a bad thing. The only thing they seem to have is, well, Trump is involved. If Orange Man is doing it, it is automatically bad. This is a universal maxim you must abide by. That's the only point that I can glean from it. Privately funded, tearing down the facade is not a sign of disrespect. The White House has already undergone this kind of redecoration a dozen times in its current iteration, let alone in its original iteration before it was obliterated and rebuilt completely. I think that was under the Lincoln administration, if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, they rebuilt it then because of various problems with the building. So they decided to renovate a little bit. Do you not think that this didn't require tearing down parts of the structure. Some of them remain, but for the most part, I mean, you had to do something with it. Yeah, it's basically a mud patch, and it looks like shit. We should probably do something about that. No, honestly, I would rather live in a tent if I were president of the United States. I'd just put a tent up on the front lawn and I'd live there and I'd have my little hexamine stove and eat MREs all day and stuff like that. But Trump thinks a little bit bigger than that. This is not a sign of disrespect. It is not publicly funded. Yes, you do have to tear into the building in order to rebuild what you're building. It's already fully funded, or I believe almost fully funded. So, construction can go ahead. It could be a boondoggle, but I don't think that it will. Donald Trump, if he's got one particular expertise, it's in real estate. It's in building things. You look at the Mar-a-Lago. The Mar-a-Lago is far more posh than the fucking White House. There's a reason for this. This is his entire life. He's trying to build one last grand thing, I think, more than anything else. Part of it is egotism. Part of it is Donald Trump saying, nobody else can get the ballroom built. But I can, though. And it's going to be great. And I imagine that the second that they complete it, the first thing they're going to do is throw the most lavish, crazy-ass party in there possible. Because that would be Trump's MO, just saying. But, I mean, if it's not publicly funded, why are people so worried about it? They're worried about desecrating the White House. So, in other words, when a garden is put in, or a greenhouse, or a new newsroom, or any modification to the White House in any way is made, because you're going to have to do exactly the fucking same thing they're doing right now, was that desecrating some sacred ground of some sort? It's almost like you consider it like the burial spot where your ancestors lie or something like that. Well, you can't put up a new rock here. That would be disrespectful. Mm, great coffee from Jam and Bean. Just saying, the Costa Rica blend is a close second behind the Flanker blend. I've got the Costa Rica blend at the moment. It's just, the notes are slightly different, but it's still delicious. I always put a shot of milk in it, of course. Whole milk only, never use skim. It should be banned. Donald Trump's ballroom, I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's going to name it after himself, I believe, too. It'll be funny. And then all those liberal reporters, when they're having their $100 glasses of champagne, they're sparkling. Then they'll know exactly who built the room that they happen to be inhabiting at the time. And they won't be able to bitch about taxpayers having to have funded it because that never actually happened. Although I do know, and this has happened before, it's much like with Trump's first tax relief. People had the misconception, even the liberal legacy media on page C, of course, would admit to this. People had the misconception that it was mainly targeted at the rich and that it raised taxes on the middle class, which never happened. Yet still, a significant minority of the population still believes that it did. The same thing will be true here. Because of lies by omission and structure and things of that nature, the legacy media years from now will still have people captivated by the concept that Donald Trump, during a shutdown, dug into taxpayer pockets in order to loot the treasury and build a ballroom. They are talking about that right now. They're not going to stop. I've tried to reason with these people, but there's no reason there, so I've pretty much given up at this point. So yeah, Ballroom Blitz. By the way, really, really good song. Look up Ballroom Blitz. You'll thank me later. That's about all. Peace out.